Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for being here on behalf of the whole team. I know that every time we hold one of these events where we kind of get to talk to you all, we just feel super thankful, like, oh, people want to come hang out with us and be on our team. And so it's so fun to get to know you guys in this group and to chat and connect and tell you a little bit about ourselves and hopefully learn more about you guys as well as we go throughout the night. So I'll start with introducing myself. My name is Kelsey. I have been a part of our team for 2 years, actively coaching for about almost a full year, I would say, maybe a little bit more. So I was a diamond rank coach, and I've had such a blast just being on our team. So a little bit about my story. I'm going to skip like a lot of the fluff and just get to the real stuff with coaching and what I do now in my business now. So I did my first program, Morning Marathon 100, and it was great, but I wasn't really coaching. I was just like posting a lot. And it wasn't actually until this time last year, COVID, where I was like, man, I think I want to do this thing. And I think I really want to go on this trip that Dana's talking about. So Dana is my upline coach. And I was like, maybe I'll just go for it and I'll just do what I can do to see if I can make this trip happen. I had just graduated college. And so, like, a free trip for me. Hello, like, I'm broke. So, sure, why not go? And then to hang out with the girls. I've always loved being a part of the community as I've been a discount coach and a hobby coach and things like that. I've always loved being in the community. So, a year ago, I really started to focus on building a business. And it took me a little bit to kind of get a grasp on things, but I remember everything that I did. I just always thought back to, like, what did Dana do for me? And then I would just kind of double check my steps with Dana, and then there it was. And I just kind of went on my way in this stepping stone to reaching my goal of being a diamond coach and getting to go on a free trip to Destin, Florida. So I ended up hitting that goal in July on my birthday week of 2020. And we went in November and it was just a blast. But that trip for me just really solidified what coaching is for me and what this community is for me. Being super young, I've always been the girl that, like, I didn't always feel like I really fit in. I just always felt kind of like more mature than most people my age and just a little bit awkward. And I didn't really click with people on a lot of things. And so once I was surrounded by all of these women, literally there was like, what, 40 of us in a house. It was amazing. And we were all talking about faith and fitness and just the things that we love and do. And I loved that it was a no-brainer that we were going to get up in the morning and we were going to work out together and we were going to take care of ourselves. That's always been our number one role as a coach. And so I've just loved being in a community where that is our priority and where we cheer each other on. We often have said that it's so nice to be a part of a community where you're not the topic at the table when you get up to go get a drink or, something like that. So I've always loved that, and just the support I've had from everyone on our team. So again, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I'm super excited to answer some of your questions and hopefully get you excited about coaching. And then Mare, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So I'm Meredith. I'm excited to talk with you guys tonight. I have a different story than Kelsey, but do have some similarities. So I manage a team of product consultants full time. So my day job is pretty demanding and full of lots of people's problems. I also have two little boys, and then my husband is part owner of a company. So he's crazy busy and really tied to the market, the weather, what the other subcontractors are doing. And I would say we don't really have plans in our house because we never really know what's going to come up. So I started BOD or Beachbody just on demand in 2019 in January. Dana talked to me about the accountability group and the products, but I kind of felt like I didn't really need them. I had a background playing competitive sports in high school. I'd done a lot of like fitness stuff in the past, and I thought, I can do this myself. Why would I like pay extra money for that? That seemed silly to me. But the joke was kind of on me. I was inconsistent for over a year with what I was doing, and I just kept watching her and just kept thinking, like, I was just honestly so jealous of like what she had. She had the consistency. She somehow had time for all of this stuff. She had 4 kids and a busy husband too, and she was going on these trips and just genuinely having so much fun and filling her cup, and you could tell that. And meanwhile, the corporate world was kind of sucking me dry a little bit. So 2 months into COVID in May 2020, I decided if I wasn't going to give it a try then, there was not going to be a better time to do it. I was working from home, had more flexibility than I never had. So I decided to just give it a go. I really needed the consistency, and I really, really, really needed the community. It was a big change to be working from home and have my 2 kids there with me all day long. So I gave it a go. I was really scared to tell anyone what I was doing. I don't think I'd really even told many people that I was doing Beachbody workouts, much less going to be a Beachbody coach. So I would say that was definitely the hardest thing for me to get over. But once I did it little by little, the response that I got was just amazing. Like, so many people were cheering me on, said, I was inspiring them. And it's really been something that's filled my cup in so many ways that I didn't even know that I needed. The community is awesome. The accountability is awesome. And I feel like while I love my corporate job, I don't intend to leave it, at least not anytime soon. This is something that like I feel so good about doing. I can pour myself into others. I can be creative. I can have this whole outlet that like I just don't get to have when I'm working for someone else, and I can do things my own way. So it's just been a great thing, and I'm excited to answer your questions and hear some of your concerns, because I think we all have those fears. They're all different, but they're all a little bit the same too. So I'm really excited for tonight. And Dana, I think I'm turning it over to you now.
Yep. All right. Thanks, ladies, for sharing that quickly. Yeah, so I'm Dana. I guess you could say, like, I always feel weird being like founder of Team Rise and Shine, because really it's just a group of people that I enjoy doing life with. I got healthy and I shared it with them, and now they love to share it with others. We are bonded together as a community, and that's what makes our team Rise and Shine. I am married to my husband, Aaron, who he has 4 kids. We have 4 kids together. We live in central Iowa. He teaches in farms, and I have been home for almost, like 9 years now. I was a teacher before that. But I'm going to tell my story a little differently than I normally do tonight. It's just kind of something that's kind of been on my mind lately, and I just wanted to mix it up in case anybody has heard it before. I also did Beachbody kind of off and on, a little bit on my own, a little bit with a community throughout various stages of being a mother. I landed with Beachbody after my 4th, consistently. I just it was the best option for me. Okay. If you're here, you probably know, like, you've been doing it, like, you get it, you get the financial, like, it's good financially. You're loving the programs, you like the products. I'm not here to convince you guys like how great it is. It's exactly what I needed in my life, but it was even so much more than I thought that I needed. I thought that I just needed easy workouts, easy nutrition, and maybe an accountability group. And so that's exactly what I did when I started after my 4th. I leaned into all of those things. I did full programs. I followed Ultimate Portion Fix nutrition containers. After lots of pushback and hesitation, I started drinking Shakeology. Energize wasn't even a thing at the time. And I felt amazing. Okay. So that's like kind of my long story short. I did fall in love with what Beachbody is, but I was not in love with being a coach, and I absolutely did not want to be one. So when I did join with my coach, it was for the discount because I felt incredible. But because I felt so incredible, it really radiated to people, and people saw that. And so I had friends and friends and people that saw what I did, and naturally, like, they wanted to be a part of it too. We were at similar stages of life, or they saw things in me, whether it was my physical transformation or my mental one, that they wanted to be a part of it too. So I did start coaching, and I'm not going to talk a lot about how I went from like this discount coach, like just wanting the discount, to now, like, I consider myself a business building coach. But I really wanted to explain to you guys, I wanted to share really briefly the things that have blessed me in that time period. Might I remind you, this has only been for 3 years. So I was a discount coach in it was like March of 2018 is when I started. Things that I didn't know that I needed that this community has blessed me with, first of all, is just the community in general. Being a coach is an extra layer of accountability. I do not give up on my health because other people are counting on me to show up. I use social media as an accountability tool. I use my accountability group as an accountability tool. And I have coaches that I'm here to help set an example with. That can be really scary. I understand that. But after you get over that first hurdle of feeling like these people are counting on you, because it's a community and especially ours, you'll learn that they love you too. And that means that they're not counting on you to be perfect. They're just counting on you to continue to show up. And so that was kind of one of the first things I learned that like, I didn't even think I needed. I have like a really bomb group of girlfriends outside of Beachbody. I did not think I needed this community. Okay. And I don't mean that like to brag. I prayed real hard for that group of friends I have, but it's just an example. But now I honestly can't imagine my life without my coach community, almost just as much, honestly, just as much as that group of girlfriends. And that's saying a lot. It's been incredible. And through that community, it's offered opportunities for travel. I was a stay-at-home parent. I've been able to travel, trips that I've earned for my husband and I, trips that I've earned, leadership trips, all these different things. And then just like my health in general. And then the last thing I just wanted to touch on was just how it has set up our family for financials for our future. And again, none of this was on my radar in the beginning, but I just want you guys to know, I hate to come in here and be like, yeah, it's just great for accountability, because you need to know that if you want to use it for more than that, it definitely can. Okay. And it takes work. I'm 3 years in and I don't even think I could confidently say I've fully like replaced in full-time income. But I can say that I definitely have surpassed what I was paying, what I made after I paid for daycare. And I work on my own time when I want to work, half a day's work, quarter of a day's work of what I worked at school, but it's consistent. And it has provided a platform for the future of our family, not so much that immediate. And that's really something that Beachbody and this opportunity has given me. It has given me so much more of a growth mindset and perspective for the future, for my health, for my family, for the legacy for my children of what is health, and for the community of women that I'm impacting, that they're impacting. And then also, for my family significantly financially in the future. So I just definitely wanted to touch on that tonight. But we just wanted to touch our stories briefly tonight. I feel like I came to this group of ladies before we decided to host our info session this month like this, because I feel like we talk at people all the time. And that's not like a bad thing. It's because we love it and we love sharing about it. But we really want to answer questions. It's not really all about us. And I think we all could probably agree that sometimes we make it too much about us, or put too much weight on what we think you think about what we're asking. But we really want to know, what do you need? What do you want to know? So that's why we wanted to open this up tonight, just as questions. I hope you guys came with some, because if you didn't, it's going to be really awkward because we're just going to sit in silence. You guys are laughing, but it's true. I read that in a leadership book once. Get comfortable with the silence. So yeah, the floor is open. If you are comfortable unmuting yourself, you can ask. This is like open book. Or if you can't talk, I understand that. I was just in bed with my girls. You can also type something in the chat. So the floor is open and I'm not going to be the only one to answer. Anybody can jump in, any coaches to answer the questions.
How do you guys balance your time between having a full-time job and doing this as your side business?
I can start with that one. I know there's a few others that can also answer it. I have gotten really I've tried to get really good at kind of splitting time for my brain to focus on each job. So I fully consider coaching to be a job for me. It brings in income. But I try to, like, when I'm working, I just kind of answer like our fun message pods as I would text back my friends and things like that, like the community aspect I talked about. But then when I'm actually working on building my business, I am sitting down typically at night or first thing in the morning when I'm off hours of work, and I am like honing in on that. My challengers, everyone in my gym, all of that kind of stuff, that stuff waits until I'm in that like allotted time of coaching work. During the day when I'm at work, I really just leave it to like the fun coaching stuff, which is conversations with our team.
I do it pretty similarly. I've found a pretty good routine with like doing a lot of coaching stuff when I'm waiting in the school pickup line, or if I'm on, I don't know, a conference call that I don't have to necessarily pay that much attention to. I probably shouldn't be saying that, but a lot of mine is just like I'll do it really early in the morning, or like I said, I'll do it in the school pickup line, or I'll make a point to like take 30 minutes but before I go pick the kids up from daycare, to kind of take a break and switch hats. But like Kelsey said, it is really hard to like bounce back and forth. So things that don't require a whole lot of like brain power, I'll respond to. But I tried to kind of like really focus in on what I'm doing one at a time. Another thing that I've started doing is like I set a certain day of the week where I know my calendar is not going to be as busy, and I try to knock out a ton of Beachbody work then. Or for my personal gym, I do all my planning and posting for the week on Saturday or Sunday so that I'm not doing it during the week. I just have to fit it into my schedule somehow. So I'm sure it's probably the same. I mean, like with Dana, I'm sure you've got stuff you have to do for your kids, and we all just kind of have to fit it into the pockets that we can fit it into.
Yeah, for sure. To bounce off that, just because like this would be a similar question that I think that people don't really know or understand is how much time does it take? Like, especially if you're here for the discount, then you're just here for the discount. Like, that's cool. Like, we respect that. But that hobby or business building, we have something called a tracker that is really to help you work smarter, not harder. So if you're wanting to do a little bit more with the business, it literally tells you every single thing to do for the day. And I always give this example. There it is. Kelsey's holding it up, or a version of it, the one most of us use, I think. I always give the example when I started as a hobby coach, like doing it more as a hobby, I was working like honestly working like 40 minutes to an hour a day. And that was all. And that was just being social with people on social media, maybe inviting a couple people to join us. And then I also usually spend my weekends planning for my gym, which does take time, but it's worth it. Any other questions?
I think another good call out is like you don't have to have your own gym. Like I didn't have my own for a long time, and now Bree and I do it together because we're both working, we're both busy. We both don't have like tons and tons of people, so it works really well for us to just kind of share that responsibility, I guess I would say, and we can like share ideas. So you can really do it, like I said in my what I was talking about, like you own it, you can have it your own way. I had all my people in Dana's gym forever. So
It looks like there's one in the chat about the difference of a discount coach and a hobby coach. Do you want me to take it? I can take it. So I would kind of consider myself all the three kinds of coaches. So there's a discount coach, a hobby coach, and then like a business building coach. So a discount coach is you're just here for the discount. And like Dana said, that's totally fine. I think that's where a lot of us actually started off, not saying you have to go anywhere from it, but the option is always there. So that means you don't have to work any of the business or invite anyone or post anything on social media, although it can be fun too. It just means that you get that 25% off on all of our products and all of the supplements and things like that. So for me, that was a no-brainer. I was a college student when I became a coach, so I was just wanting to have the supplements at a discounted price. And then a hobby coach is kind of that like, oh, I do it here and there and I do it for fun just to invite my friends and not necessarily trying to hit like serious goals, but maybe I have some fun goals. Or I would even consider like my first kind of trip that I went on, like more of a hobby thing that I did. And now I definitely look at this as more of I am seriously trying to build a business so that one day when I have a husband and kids and things like that, that I have the option to stay home if I want to leave my corporate job. So those are kind of some of the differences, but someone else can tack on too.
Bouncing off of like what Kelsey said, I originally joined, as a discount coach because, you get early access to all the new programs, everything like that. But I think, so I'm kind of struggling with it right now. I'm going to be real with you guys because like last month, like I was doing it as like a total, like kind of hobby coach. This month, I kind of took a step back because I felt like balancing my full-time job and what I do on the side was almost a little bit too much. So I'm taking this month to kind of step aside and just get everything organized so that I can like jump back into it next month. So it's just something that's super nice to kind of like when I tell people, you should join as a coach only because like if you don't want to dive into it right away, there's still the option that you can dive into it at some point. So if you ever want to start building the business, it's just nice to start out as a discount coach. And then anytime you ever want to tack onto it, which is what I do, I just go ahead and I tackle it as like a hobby coach. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you, but yeah.
No, I think that's a really good call out, Sam. Like I have times where I'm super, super busy and I'm super busy with work or my husband's super busy and I don't have as much time to put into it. And since it's not like my only income or anything, I don't have to treat it as consistently as others do. And that's like, I probably wouldn't have signed up if I needed to do that because I couldn't make that commitment at the time. I think I'm somewhere in between, probably a hobby coach, I guess, but like I'm serious about it. I want to grow it. But I've got a lot going on in my life. So I think that's important to know. Like when you sign up as a coach, you don't have to commit to like, you have to sign up this many people a month or we're kicking you out, or you have to sell this much product or you have to owe a bunch of money. It's really whatever you want to make it, which is awesome because you have nothing to lose. And if you decide you want to dive in deeper, then look at all you can gain.
Yeah, that's so good. And I mean, just to kind of clarify, none of those are like, you don't ever say like, I'm a discount coach. Or I mean, people say that, but like, you don't have to like tell us that. Like, okay, where do I type it? Where do I put it? Or where do I fill out the form? It's like, no, it's just like, it's a personal decision. And you might find that that ebbs and flows over time. Just because I feel like I'm probably one of the few on our team that are like, I'm trying to replace a full-time income for sure to never have to go back to work. And hopefully so my husband doesn't have to do his job forever. So like, we're talking like big goals here. I will say when I was between hobby and business, so kind of the opposite of these guys, like going up another rung, is like you do eventually have to kind of make a decision. So if that was ever like on anybody's radar, because it's really exhausting to go between hobby and full on business building, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because you'll feel like you take 10 steps forward and then you let go a month and you take like 30 steps back. And that's just like super exhausting. And I'm not talking again, working like crazy hours, but if you would end up having set goals and you want to really break those down, and what does that look like? What do you need to put in? So that was good though. I love talking about that. That's a good question. Does anybody else have any other questions? I know there's got to be more.
I actually have a question that I think I've been asking, but I never quite fully get an answer out of it. And this is probably going to be like super thought provoking. I don't know. But okay, so let me see if I can put this into words. When you're still working on yourself fitness wise, how are you able to coach? Like, do you guys kind of understand what I'm like asking there? Like you're still working on yourself, but you're trying to help others kind of improve like their lifestyle. Like, how do you guys do that? And I can clarify too, if anyone wants me to clarify, I can try.
I think that you don't have to like be perfect, and that makes you more relatable to everyone. And probably, I mean, more relatable than someone who looks like they have it all together and they know exactly what they're doing and they're perfect. I mean, I think I've seen all of us admit like, hey, I fell off the nutrition train this weekend and I'm okay with that. And but this is like Autumn talked today about being disciplined. And I think that's what we have to try our hardest to model for people who are watching us, is the discipline part. Because if we don't have it, we can't expect people that are following us to think that they should have it either. And so she said today, oh gosh, what'd she say? Anybody remember on 9-week control freak? Something about being disciplined.
I think it was like
something about being
you're
disciplined.
not
but
always going to have motivation. You have to have discipline
Yes,
so you show
that's
up when
it.
you're not motivated.
Yes. So I think that's my biggest thing, is just showing consistency and discipline. And, you know, if you get off track, it's okay to admit it, but jump right back on.
I think with that too, like always reminding people like you have the tools to get back on whenever you need to. Like maybe your weekend was bad, but okay, now it's Sunday. I know I can meal plan, I can look up recipes, like I have the tools to get right back. So it's like a balance, I feel like go out and enjoy yourself, but then know like come Monday or next week or next month, whatever, then get right back to it and you have all of those tools. It's not like they go away. So I think that's important to remind people of too.
I think the other thing that I heard in a training once was like, we have super trainers and nutrition specialists, and like, we don't have to be the expert in that. And we need to be the expert in like relating to people and helping people understand that, like you said, it's okay to fall off. Everyone does it. It'd be weird if you didn't. And so use the tools we have, teach people how to use the tools that we have, but nobody has to be no one needs to look like Autumn or have their own cookbook or any of that stuff, because that's what our platform is. So we are just like adding to what Beachbody provides.
Yeah,
I think it's also like, go ahead.
When I first started, one of the biggest roadblocks for me was like, I don't look like your standard fitness coach. And so for me, it was like the accountability piece. So I framed it in the sense that I'm going to be your partner, like an accountability partner, versus like I'm some perfect human being that has abs and, you know, eats like perfectly. So that just is how I framed it for myself, because I struggled with that too, Sam.
That's what I was going to say about accountability. I think it's more of like, I'm going to be there for you, you be there for me. Let's do this together. Let's hold each other's hands. Let's just, you know, be that person together and work through it together, type of thing.
Yeah, that was so good. Thank you guys for sharing. Does anybody have any that's live have another question? There were a couple I was going to maybe bring up that people, when they introduced themselves, that they had like mentioned that they wanted to learn this week. So I thought we could address a couple of those. But if anybody that's on here has a question. My internet's not very good. I hope I don't lose you guys.
You're fuzzy, but we can hear you, so that's what matters.
So any other live questions? You guys came on, use the time.
Don't be shy, because we've all thought them. We've
And we've
probably
all-
all thought the same things or had the same fears or wondered the same.
There was definitely one on the questions, and now one person had asked about products. So if anybody has like any input about products, I don't want to be the one to talk the whole time, but they had just asked like if we use them.
I always like to frame it in like the sense of I use them and I love them, but like it took me a while to build up to that, if that makes sense. So like I chose what I wanted to start with as one single product, which was Shakeology, because I trusted my coach when she said, this is what you need. And then from there, I actually like won a water challenge in Dana's gym, and she sent me an Energize packet, and I had one thing of Energize, and I was like, we're buying a lot of this now. And then, you know, like another challenge and a different Shakeology flavor or hydrate or whatever it is. And I think you kind of slowly build your arsenal to find what you like and the flavors and things like that. But I always tell everyone in my gym, like, I would never require you to buy a product. I think a lot of people have that misconception that they're like 100% required to constantly buy products, and that's just not the case. But I do especially encourage Shakeology for the girls in my gym, just because it's so good for you. It's such an easy way to get multivitamins in. I mean, I consider it my multivitamin. And it's done so much for me and my like in toning my body. Like I always go back to when I did bar and I drank Shakeology for the whole bar program, which I think is 9 weeks. I was like, dang, I'm finally really seeing results. And I totally attribute it to the combination of the two, the workout and the shake.
So I've actually used Beachbody for like 8 years. And I did the Shakeology like initially in the beginning and then haven't touched it for 8 years and did no other products. And so then the last few months when I've jumped into coaching, I decided that I had to give Shakeology another try, and just like listening to advice and trying new recipes and being super consistent with it has done so much for me already. And then I also avoided Energize for years and years probably because I knew I would love it. And so then when I started doing it a few months ago, like I can't go without it now. It's one of my favorite things, but also it's taken me off of like coffee. Like I had coffee yesterday and I literally had to sit down and wanted to take a nap 2 hours after coffee because I crashed so hard off of it. And it made me realize how amazing Energize is, because I never, ever, ever get that feeling from Energize. It's so natural for your body. Your body loves it. And it's just a really natural, steady energy that sustains me for a long time instead of crashing. And so I think that's a good testimony that I give to people who are talking with me about joining and even becoming a coach. Like it's so worth it to become a coach if you're going to use products every month because of the discount. So maybe Dana, maybe that's something you could talk about, is like how much of a discount the products are, because that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. So when you sign up as a coach, you get basically 25% off retail price. So like Shakeology bag typically is like $120-ish. So you get that around $99. There is a coach fee that's $15 a month. But if you're doing Shakeology and anything else, or even just Shakeology, I think if you just drink Shakeology alone, well, you save over, the quick math is like it's $200 a year or something like that. We always say if you're going to use the product, it's cheaper to be a coach. And then when it comes to the product, kind of the last thing I just want to touch on, or two things quickly, was there is a transaction with Beachbody. Obviously, when people join our community, they have to purchase the product. And again, that kind of goes back to where we're like their hype girl, we're their cheerleader, we're their coach, but they are receiving an incredible tool and product. Like the fitness platform is a product. We don't get Netflix for free. Okay. Well, we don't get these workouts for free. And the same thing kind of goes for the products, but I also like to think that I'm sharing the products, not necessarily selling them. Yes, there's a sale when it comes with them, but I pretty much only sell the things that I use. I rarely have people that come to me and they're like, I want to start drinking, what's the nighttime one? We have a nighttime like protein drink. I rarely have somebody come to me and be like, I want to start drinking Reset, or I don't even know what it's called, whatever it's called, because I don't share about it. Now, that'd be cool if they wanted to try that and did it, but just like to kind of let you know, and I'm not saying you have to try all the things, just find what you like, what works for you, and then
you can wear my rain boots.
You share that with your people.
I don't ever wear them anymore.
There we go. So, I just wanted to clarify that, because I know that like that idea of being salesy, nobody has asked it, but we know that you are all thinking it. So just to clarify that, we're definitely more about sharing than selling. The other question that somebody had brought up in the group was, and it's a really broad question, I know tons of us could answer it, so maybe just like if two people want to answer one part or both parts, the hardest part about being a coach and the most fun part.
The hardest part for me as a brand new coach is getting over myself. And like, if this is something I want to do, having the confidence to put myself out there, forgetting about what everyone else might think about it, because it has proved to be like, it makes me cry thinking about it every time. Like the positive messages that you get, the people that you've inspired, the people like, I am in month 2 of being a coach, and I have yet to send a message to anyone to ask them to join me. Like they are just, people need us in their life to inspire them. And so it's just been really cool to get the positive messages and just to have that affirmation of like, this is exactly where God has me because he's using me to inspire other people. And it's really cool. So just get over yourself. You'll eventually feel more confident in sharing your videos and photos if that's the way that you're going to manage your business.
Yeah, I would piggyback on that. I think that was like the biggest hurdle for me was like to just quit being scared. I said at the beginning of this year, I was just going to quit giving an F. And it's been like so rewarding because like, why am I living my life for what other people think? Because this is so fulfilling to me. It's something that I just truly love and it fills my cup and it makes me feel good. And I love that I get to impact others and help them feel that too. So it's hard to do that, but I think sometimes you just have to like suck it up and say, too bad, I don't care what others think. I'm just going to do me and not apologize for it.
I think that if people are judging you because of what you're passionate about, then they're truly just like not worth it for me. Like if you don't want to just like spend time, like chatting with me about it, and instead you're just going to bring me down because of it, you're just not worth my time. And I have had a bunch of people who don't even join Beachbody, but like I've asked them if they want to be a coach or if they want to join in my gym. And even if they politely say no, they're constantly telling me like, thank you for sharing the things that most of us don't ever want to share on social media. So I think like just being like your authentic self. And if people just don't want to get on board with that, then it's really just not worth your time. Like life is way too short to care about what other people like think about you. So
Was the other part like the best part about being a coach? So I have one for this one, of course. I think there's a few different things. I think a lot of people easily could go to the income aspect of it and think like, oh, you're just trying to make money or whatever it might be. But for me, it is easily when I get a text from a challenger or a coach on my team and they say like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this program for 2 weeks and I just feel so amazing and I'm just so excited about it. And I'm just curious, like, what do you think we should do next? Like that is the best message you could get. It's the most fulfilling thing. Messages like that and talking to my team like that remind me of like why we were put here and why we're on this team. Because when they are learning to love themselves and take care of themselves and find health, that's like the most rewarding thing because we had a hand in helping them get there. And if I never shared my story, if I never posted on social media, if I never messaged them and said, hey friend, like tell me more about you and got to know people, which is like so out of my comfort zone. I'm not good at that, but it's fun for me to do now because I know the potential that I could literally be BFFs with them. Like I went and got drinks with Sam not that long ago and we talked forever and ever. It's so much fun. And I just love when you're helping someone and you have that reward from it. There's absolutely no income, no trip, nothing beats that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Kelsey is the same thing. Like I just got some of those messages today and they just like literally bring like tears to my eyes. Like just like proud, happy moments with that. Just being able to share this with everybody and they can come to you and they're like, thank you so much. I'm so happy. Or like today, somebody said like, my marriage is so much better just because I put a little bit of time into myself, or I feel like I'm such a better mom for just this like 30 minutes of time. And that is like the best thing. And then the second best thing I think too is like the community of like all of these ladies on here supporting each other, not even just through like health and fitness, like through life too, just because there's ups and downs of life, so many different things that we all go through, and they're right there supporting you and having your back through it all too.
Thanks for sharing, ladies. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up with us here tonight, just for the sake of time, people catching the replay of this. Couple things. I'm actually not going to share a ton about getting signed up. I'm going to make a post about that so that everybody can kind of see it. Just in case they don't want to end up going through this whole thing, then it's just there for everyone to see in our group, but I'll have all the details kind of typed out too. It's easier to see. But really just wanted to thank you guys for being here. I was going to kind of close with answering that question a little bit too, that, oh man, am I getting really glitchy? Am I okay? I'm okay or really glitchy?
Yeah, you're freezing.
I'm not going to say it. I'll just let it be. Maybe I'll go live tomorrow and I'll close it out with it. Because it's not going to be worth it. All I could see was you guys all are freezing on my end, and all I could see, half of you are nodding, but Meredith looks like this. And you're frozen again.
I swear to God, I freeze and making the worst faces in every meeting I'm in.
Oh, anyway. Okay, so this is the real deal, guys. This is what we're like. We're just a hot mess all the time. Or I am. I don't know. But anyway, I just want to say thanks for being here. I'm not going to finish out with what I wanted to say because I'm just so glitchy, obviously. Get me a supercomputer and crazy fast. Yeah, please do. Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye guys. Thank you for
Thanks for
hopping on.
joining. Yeah.